Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Public Cloud Design Tips and Tricks. In this channel, we generally discuss about public cloud design problem statement and their related solution and the service fundamental behavior. So in this channel, we generally cover two public cloud vendors, AWS and Microsoft Azure. Today's problem statement. What is the network firewall service which is currently available with public cloud? Then with Microsoft, you will find Azure Firewall, Network Firewall, and AWS you will find Azure Network Firewall. So what is Azure Firewall? So Azure Firewall is a managed cloud-based network security service that protects your Azure virtual network resources. It is a fully stateful firewall as a service with built-in high availability and unrestricted cloud scalability. That means you can scale up your Azure Firewall based on the need, and also availability. You do not have to think about load balancer. It will be currently handled by the Azure Firewall. Now let's try to understand few of the concepts of Azure Firewall. So Azure Firewall has two main concepts. One is application rule, second is network rule, and their collections as well. So if we are talking about rules, then the rules are being categorized with three types: application rule, network rules, and NAT rules. Now what is the application rule? Application rules configure fully qualified domain names that can be accessed from a subnet. So from a subnet, if you want to reach out to outside world or some other system, you can go through the firewall, and you can, with the application rule, you can define the source and destination, and you can use FQDNs of that particular URL. Then what is the network rule? Network rule configures the rules that contain source address, protocols, destination ports, and destination address. That means, let you want to reach from your subnet to some IP address and the port is 445 or 443. Then in that case, you have to define the source, define the protocols, define like which type of protocol, like HTTPS or FTP. So the protocol needs to be defined. Along with that, also you have to define the source and destination ports. In this way, you can whitelist your source and destination in Azure Firewall. Now the NAT rule. So NAT rule configure the DNAT rules to allow incoming internet from the connection. So if you want to control the incoming traffic from internet to your connection, that also can do by the NAT rules. Now what is a rule of collection? So a rule collection is a set of rules that share the same order and priority. So if you have a set of rules which has same order and same priority, then you can club them and you can treat them as a collection of rules. Rule collections are executed in order of their priority. So based on the priority, the execution will happen in the rule collection. The network rule collections are higher priority than application rule collection. So if in your firewall you have network rule collection as well as application rule collection, then the first priority is on the network rule collection, the execution will happen. Then after that, the application rule collection will execute. Now let's try to understand where should you place your firewall. Just think about your scenario. You have your own virtual network, and you want to interact with different systems like on-premise or to internet or to public PaaS services. So how should you route your traffic securely, or you can restrict the traffic in your virtual network? You can either do it via the NSG, network security group. Inside your subnet you can tag it, or inside your VNet you can tag the NSG and you can control it. If you want to control it in the organization level, like Azure Firewall is very much costly, so it is not wise to use the firewall in each and every VNet. So there is a concept known as Azure Firewall Central VNet. So you can place it in the central VNet. You can link this Azure Firewall VNet to your spoke VNet. That means your own virtual network. So there are also certain limitations how many peering that you can do from your central VNet to your spoke VNet. We generally call it as a hub spoke model. So in this model, you have your spokes which is linked to your hub network, and your spokes can interact with outside world via this hub network, via the forced tunneling concept or via the RDP. So you can define it, and based on that you can route your traffic. So inside your Azure Firewall, you will configure the rules. Like for each rules, you will define which is your subnet, which is your destination, what are all protocols. So everything, the network collection rule or the application collection rule, that you can define it and you can control it. And that's how you can basically protect your own virtual network from the outside world. That is the main role of Azure Firewall. And also you can do a filtering over your on-premise connectivity. So you want to filter certain traffic to on-premise, that also you can achieve it in your Azure Firewall traffic. So that's how the central and the hub spoke model works with multiple organizations. If you are a big organization, you can use this. If you are a smaller organization, you can think about what should be the best practices to use it. Now the main part starts here. So if we try to understand what are all what are all Azure Firewall features, then if we try to understand the Azure Firewall features, then that starts with built-in high availability. So built-in high availability is there is no extra load balancers are required, and there is nothing you need to configure. It is already there inside your Azure Firewall product, and it will take care by itself. You do not have to worry about it. Availability zone, Azure Firewall can be configured during deployment to span multiple availability zones for increased availability. And with availability zones, your availability always increases to, Microsoft always guarantees is to 99.99% uptime. Then the unrestricted cloud scalability. It is nothing but the firewall can scale out as much as you need to accommodate changing network traffic flows. So you do not need to budget your peak traffic. Basically, it will automatically handle it. Application FQDN filtering rules. This is also one of the beautiful features where you can limit outbound HTTPS traffic or Azure SQL traffic to specified list of fully qualified domain names, including wildcards as well. You can do that. Then the network traffic filtering rules, even as we have discussed, like you can centrally create allow and deny network filtering over the rules, and you can control it. FQDN tags, if we are talking about FQDN tags, then that means it can make it easy for you to allow well-known Azure services network traffic through your firewall. So you can, with the FQDN tags, fully qualified domain name tags, you can filter this as well. Now the service tags. A service tag represents a group of IP addresses, prefixes to help minimize complexity for security rule creation. So you cannot create your own service tag or not specify which IP address are included within a tag. Microsoft manages the address prefixes, and also by the service tags, and automatically update the service tag as address ranges. So these are all base features or base features which are currently provided by Azure Firewall. You can find multiple features like this. I will provide the URL. You can go through it and you can find it. Now let's talk about the Azure Firewall Premium version. So there are two type of version you will find: a normal Azure Firewall and another is Azure Firewall Premium. When you are using Azure Firewall Premium, that time you will find four types of features with Azure Firewall. One is TLS inspection. That means with TLS inspection, it decrypts your outbound traffic, processes the data, then encrypts the data and send it to your destination. That is the one of the feature which is available with Azure Firewall Premium. Second is IDPS, a network intrusion detection and prevention systems, allows you to monitor your network traffic for malicious activity and also log information about this activity, report it, and optionally attempt to block it. So if you are a private organization, then you should definitely use this feature. With this, you can control the malicious activity over your organization private network. Then the URL filtering extends your Azure Firewall FQDN filtering, which we have already discussed, capability to consider an entire URL. Web categories is also one of the interesting feature, with administrators can allow or deny user access to your website categories, such as gambling website or social media, or you have Facebook or WhatsApp, whatever. You can restrict that with web categories. You can whitelist that as well. So these are all basic feature with Azure Firewall Premium. So I would suggest just go through the document and try to read them. If you talk about the price, then this is the standard and premium price. So you have to pay $1.25 per deployment hour and $1.75 per deployment hour with premium. And also the data transfer also it cost. So with the hub network, secure virtual hubs network deployment, you have to pay 0.016 per GB of data, which is manageable, depends upon the number of the amount of data that you are transferring. And also with the premium, it is same. So only the price is difference with respect to the number of hours that you are executing or running. So yeah, I have gathered all this information, basic information, by following these URLs. I would highly recommend, please go through the Azure Firewall and try to protect your network as much as possible other than your virtual network protection features that you are currently having. Azure Firewall has lot many other features which are currently available with Microsoft. Please go through it, read through it, and try to understand and try to implement in your organization. I wish you a happy learning. If you like the video, then don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thanks a lot.